Hi, welcome to my next topic on learning Microsoft Azure. Today we are going to see first section of cost management and the service level agreement SLA. This module 6 of MS Azure 900 course, and from this topic it is expected that 10 to 15% of the question may appear in Azure 900 fundamentals exam. There is not much technicality is involved to cover this topic, and you can easily pick up those things. And also note that it is not only for Azure 900 fundamentals exam, this will be the base for the other examination also. So you understand the topic in depth by going through this video, thereby you can prepare yourself after completing the series of videos under the section 6. There are 7 subsections under cost management. Let's see them one by one. Number 1, first, we are going to see what are the factors that affect the cost of an Azure subscription. We are also going to see how to reduce your monthly cost by analyzing various factors and the ways to reduce the cost. Second one, related to data movement cost. Here, in the data movement, which is in and out of Azure data center and between data centers, plays a crucial role in deciding the cost of your cloud setup. We will be doing analysis on this area and understand the factors that affect the overall cost. Third one is related to pricing calculator. Here, here this will help. I mean, this pricing calculator, which is an interactive tool that help a decision that can be taken by calculating the approximate cost while moving to Azure. The TCO calculator, another one, which helps you to understand the cost areas which affect your applications today, such as server hardware, software licenses, electricity, and labor. Next come cost management. That is the fourth item. Azure Cost Management is a free solution offered to Azure cloud customers via the Azure portal. Here we are going to see how we enable the cost management tools which are used, something like the pricing calculator that will be covered as part of previous subsection, and cost analysis report, integration with Azure Advisor and Azure Budgets. These are the topics like Azure Advisor and Azure Budget. There will be separate subsection and short videos will be presented to you. So you need not worry much on this while learning those items. The fifth item is related to service level agreement. We are going to see the formal agreement between Microsoft and its cloud customer on uptime and the connectivity related to various services, SLA types in this subsection. Next one is about non-SLA impacts. Here we are going to see what will be the impact if a cloud user does not have an SLA and what will happen if there is a breach in the SLA. Those are covered as part of the sixth section. And finally, the seventh one, Azure Service Lifecycle. Here we will be going through Azure Service Lifecycle, which covers how every service is released for public use, their usage, their SLA, and things to do with every life cycle. Now, today, let's pick up this one, factors that affect cost, and then we will analyze various factors that affect the cost of your Azure environment or your subscribed Azure environment. Look here, we are going to see what are the factors that affect cost of an Azure subscription. That is, if you own a subscription, your monthly billing is determined by various parameters such as type of resources, type of services, regions or locations where your services or resources are deployed, type of subscription, and then last and important item, that's the usage of your services or resources. Let's pick up each and every item and discuss in length about these items and how they affect the cost of your Azure deployment. Let's move on. The first one is related to type of resources. So now let's start with this resource type, be it a virtual machine or SQL database or storage. CPU and memory used by them will decide the cost. Higher the CPU memory, higher the cost. And so right sizing need to be done prior to onboarding a resource for your application landscape. Number of virtual machines, which is also a decision maker. Uptime requirements that are configured against every resource, also a factor that will have impact on the overall cost. Other important factor that will affect the overall cost of the virtual machines, which include the CPU time, time with the public IP address that is configured against a VM, the network traffic in and out of a virtual machine, the disk size that you are using as part of virtual machine, and the number of read and write operation that you are performing using VMs. Next important thing is about the storage. Storage type for your application, it can be either a blob storage or table storage based upon your requirement. That will decide the cost. Within storage, performance tier, either a standard or premium. And then storage access type, such as hot, cold, archive, which plays a crucial role in calculation of the cost. Don't worry, there are various short videos are available to understand the storage access type and the storage types. And so you can look into those specific videos to understand more about those items. Next, let's see about the type of services. Here, Azure offers good number of services which is free for the first 12 months. This include virtual machine, SQL databases, blob storage, outbound data transfers, and many more. Also note that more than 55 services are always free, irrespective of your subscription type. For example, Resource Group is always free. Other popular services which are free, which includes Azure Bot Service. We will have a separate session on bot service, which is always free. The next one, Azure Functions, which has a consumption plan, is built based upon per second resource consumption and the number of executions. Next come Azure Logic Apps. Pricing is rather a complex one. While deploying Azure Logic Apps, select either a basic or standard option based upon your requirement. Basic is cheaper compared to standard. Deployment of a Logic App is charged based upon region or location where it is deployed. This Azure Logic App service applies different pricing model based upon the resources that you create and you use it. For example, Azure apps use storage account, which can be single tenancy model or multi-tenancy model. Based upon the model, the Logic app service will be charged with the pay as you go model or hosting plan model. Each service is priced according to the resources you use in an hourly basis. Overall, services are charged based upon on where they are deployed, how many number of executions, their resource usage, and the pricing model that you opt. That is the pay as you go model or use of reserved instances model that will make the end result, that is cost of your entire cloud deployment. Now let's get into regions and locations. Here, region location plays a role in deciding cost factor of an Azure resource. Cost of an Azure service can vary between locations as well as demand on that particular location. And another factor that will decide about the cost of a resource in a particular region or location is the infrastructure cost. To contain your application cost in Azure environment, you can choose a region where the resource cost is low. But this may lead to a trade-off. That is, cheaper region may not have a good bandwidth. Latency issues might pop up. Your application might have hosted in a single region, which consume less cost compared to hosting the application in multiple regions to achieve good throughput, better performance. However, data replication cost plus multiple instances in different region might shoot up the cost of your Azure deployment. You may be required to host your application based upon special government regions like US Department of Department Central or US Government Virginia, etc. Or in special partnered regions like China East or China North. So based upon your application requirements, they consume differential cost. You know, often regulatory requirement dictates the control and the process that drives the choice of the region. For example, Germany Central and Germany Northeast. These regions are available via a knowledge trustee model whereby customer data remains in Germany to meet regulatory data requirement as per land of the law. Please note there is a change in this model that is happened quite recently, and please refer Microsoft site for more information. Finally, there are a couple of things that you need to take care with respect to location when it comes to costing. First, cost differs from region to region, that is location based. Second, cost of running the data center decides the cost of resources purchased to a specific region. Now, let's see the type of the subscription, how it affect the cost. As I mentioned earlier, subscription plays a key role on determining the total cost of Azure for an organization. Though we have multiple subscription model exist, choosing the right option will ensure cost is under control. Apart from trial version, which is available for first 12 months, pay as you go model is a preferable one for those organizations having applications where the load or bandwidth is unpredictable. If an organization has enterprise level agreement with Microsoft, then it is easy to transfer software or server software info easily to cloud deployment, and it plays a huge role in cost calculation. Finally, go for reserved instances where the workload is predictable, which is constant all throughout the life cycle, which will save lots of cost to you. If you are opting for a wrong subscription, then you will end up paying more than what is expected. Next come usage. There are six important things that you need to consider as part of usage. Apart from choosing the right model, doing a proper capacity planning, work on tenancy requirement. Some customers, it makes financial sense to deploy a single application instance for the entire consumer base. But it can become expensive over a period of time and inefficient if the architecture is not properly planned. And so these are the things that should have to be considered. Sometimes you need to go for multi-tenancy if there is a need, and choosing multi-tenancy across regions or geographies lead to additional cost. For example, the right choice is to go for selecting software as a service model for Office 365. Platform as a service model is cheaper and less administrative effort to migrate your application into the cloud, or developing new application in the cloud using modern programming languages and databases. Though infrastructure as a service requires good amount of administrative effort, it is the right choice for enabling applications which are using legacy technologies such as mainframe. Next, do a proper capacity planning prior to choosing resources in the cloud or deploying the application in the cloud. Unused capacity lead to cost and a request for capacity expansion whenever there is a need. That will save lots of cost to you. That's come under point number 3. Next come, use the existing licenses. That is, if you are a customer having enterprise agreement with Microsoft, and if you are already having investment in certain software licenses like SQL Server licenses, and they need to be spread up as part of moving resources to Azure, you can provision bring your own license, that's called as BYOL images, and use it as part of the cloud deployment. There is no need to spend additional cost in procuring new licenses when you go for cloud deployment. And next come the marketplace services. You know, the Microsoft Azure marketplace has various pricing and subscription options. Based upon product type, they provide these pricing and subscription options. Some products are free, while others involve monthly charges, or they will opt for pay as you go model. Users are all charged separately for marketplace product they purchase and their Azure infrastructure cost, whatever they are going to use it as part of marketplace product. Usually, Azure marketplace based product or services are charged either based on per usage or on monthly billing cycle. You need to have a tab on two important things whereby you can you can control the cost. Number one, if you are subscribed for monthly billing for any marketplace services or product, get rid of them if you feel if it is no longer required for your application landscape or for your requirements. Next important thing, read the license and the costing agreement. There are charges levied to you for the services that you are consuming, which are hosted in partner environment, which are slightly costlier as compared to Azure hosted services, and you cannot track them also. The tools available with Azure or with Microsoft may not helpful to you to track those services which are hosted in partner environment. Next come the data transfer services like inbound traffic, as well as copying data from one Azure environment to another on-premises environment or to another cloud service provider environment. We are going to have a separate session on this data transfer services. Next topic is about how to reduce the cost and what are the ways that we have to reduce the cost. There are 16 different approaches through which we can reduce the cost in the next video. Look, the 16 ways to reduce the cost is based upon whatever we have seen for the past 10 to 15 minutes. And please rehearse it once again, and so that you can better prepare for my next video where you can find ways to reduce the cost. And finally, I hope this video is helpful to you for your interview or any examination purpose. I hope you can do better by going through this topic again and again. If you want to get updates on my next post, please subscribe and don't forget to click the bell. This is not the end of our learning. We will continue our learning in the next successive video. Till then, stay safe. Bye now.